It's Sunday, July 2nd, 2023. I wanted to start the video out today and just kind of talk about what's happening in the US over this 4th of July weekend. Jotted down some more notes, printed up some more articles. Let's start with this first one coming from Fox Business. Explosions rock DC businesses as suspect remains on the loose. So a Truist Bank suffered an explosion, a Safeway grocery store, and a Nike store, all in Washington, D.C. All this took place, I believe, within 15 minutes. Molotov cocktails thrown at these buildings. And the suspect presently at large. So this is what's happening over the 4th of July weekend in the United States. Think about when this begins to happen to U.S. grids and how unprepared the average person is. It's okay that it's a Safeway, it's okay that it's a Nike, it's a Truist Bank, but what happens when it really hits home and somebody starts hitting these grids? People have no idea what they're about to see happen here in the United States. They put so much trust in their politicians, so much trust in the system. They just believe that nothing bad can happen in America. Yet every day we are presented with more and more red flags warning you and I that we better be as self-sufficient as we can, physically, spiritually, financially, mentally. We need to be getting ready because this is, again, another reminder of how fast things can happen. Walgreens to close 150 stores in the US, 300 in the UK. The company will save $800 million in 2024, and they have eliminated 10% of their US corporate workforce. So more job losses. We're going to see more people every day losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing their cars. Anybody out there that thinks the economy is getting better, I hope that you seek help. You need help. I think most people now realize that this economy is not getting better. It's continuing to get worse. Even though, as I'm out today, I see people driving all over the place. I see new construction of commercial buildings. Isn't that interesting? I'll say interesting because I will see 3 or 4 vacancies on this side of the street, and right across the street, they're building a new commercial building. It makes no sense whatsoever. There are so many for lease signs, for sale signs, available signs with commercial real estate in my area, yet they're building new commercial buildings. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Here's one from the Daily Mail today. I'm sure most of you have been watching the news this weekend, seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. Holiday travel Flightmare, as 4,000 flights are delayed or canceled today, leaving 4th of July plans across the nation in tatters. Absolutely incredible. 4,500 delays or cancellations this holiday weekend. U.S. airports are in disarray. This country is so broken that we cannot even get airplanes to take off now. It is absolutely almost embarrassing what is happening. The system is so broken, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this is just another bellwether, another red flag of how broken this country is. Doesn't anybody know what they're doing? Why are we witnessing this yet again? It seems every holiday, it just gets worse and worse. It's incredible. It really is. But it's just telling you and I just how broken this country is, how broken the system is, and how unreliable and fragile the system is, and why you need to be as self-sufficient as possible. Here's another one. Here's another article today coming from Fox Business. 4th of July, a by-the-numbers look at the American holiday. They broke down the a cost per person for last July 4th and this July 4th. Well, last year, each person paid roughly $69.68. This year, to celebrate 4th of July, that same person is paying $93.34. I thought inflation was going down. This is basically what, $24 more this year per person to celebrate the 4th of July. This doesn't make any sense when we're being told inflation's going down. Also, $400 million. That's what the firework industry made last year during the 4th of July weekend. $400 million. Guess who is the biggest producer of fireworks on the planet? You guessed it, it is China. And yet most people are absolutely broke. Most people don't have $400 saved up for emergency. Many people have absolutely no money saved up whatsoever, and they're out buying fireworks this weekend. And I'm not telling anybody not to have a good time or to celebrate the 4th of July. Look, this is a great time to spend with your families, to celebrate, to eat well. But there are so many people who are so broke, yet somehow they find a way to buy fireworks. They have no silver, they have no gold, they have no cash reserve, but somehow they always find a way to buy fireworks. And this is why so many people are in trouble, because they just have absolutely no self-control. They'll go out, they'll buy fireworks, they'll buy dumb stuff, they'll continue to buy dumb stuff, but they'll never cut out the lattes at Starbucks, they'll never cut out the fireworks, they'll never cut out the tattoos. They'll just continue to buy dumb stuff while they should have been taking that money, putting a cash reserve away, buying some gold, buying some silver, buying some preparations, buying security. And this is why so many people are going to wake up and realize one day that they're in big trouble, because they have absolutely no preparations, because they just could not control themselves. But again, China gets even richer, more wealthy over the 4th of July weekend here in the United States of America, because people with no money go out and spend way too much money on fireworks, making China even wealthier than it is now. Here's another one from Fox Business. Americans get poorer as expenses surge. People really have a false sense of security right now. They believe that the benchmark, remember, you need $400, say, for an emergency. Well, the average emergency is not $400. It says here, 41% of consumers said that they spent double that $400 for an emergency. 46% said they faced an unexpected emergency that cost $1,700 or more. Most people in America are now prepared for an unexpected emergency. You need to build an emergency fund right now, not be buying fireworks, not be buying dumb stuff. You need to be building a reserve right now. You need to be minimizing debt right now. How many people are going to use a credit card this weekend, or already have used a credit card this weekend, to go and buy fireworks? How many people are going to finance their weekend cookout with a credit card this weekend? Unfortunately, millions of people will be doing this. Well, another thing we could all be doing is getting a side hustle. If you need extra money, get a side hustle. So minimize debt, get a cash reserve going, and get a side hustle to keep building that capital, keep building those reserves up. Again, I'm not telling anybody not to have a great weekend, not to celebrate 4th of July, 1776. Of course, look, I believe we are still the greatest nation on planet Earth. We have fallen so far, though. We need to save this country. But at the same time, people have got to take responsibility for their own actions, for their own finances, because the system, the politicians, are not going to save you. The Fed is not coming to save you, ladies and gentlemen. The only one that can save you is you. Here's another one today from Yahoo Finance. Tenants say a 3-year ban on evictions kept them housed. Landlords say they're drowning in debt. The eviction moratorium in San Francisco expires next month. Yes, it's still going on. Same in Los Angeles. This has been going on for over 3 years. A landlord, her name Haley, a 69-year-old landlord, estimates she is owed $60,000 in back rent. Money she believes she will never see. I agree, she is never going to see this money. Tenants have trashed her house. It's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to make the repairs. Many landlords now are stranded with massive debt and foreclosure worries. And most of these are small landlords, mom and pop landlords. They have mortgages on these properties. They have mortgages on their own homes. They're going to lose their own homes. They're going to lose these rental properties on top of their own homes. Nationwide eviction filings have come roaring back, 50% higher than the pre-health crisis average. And this is going to add to more inventory of homes, because landlords in California are going to be selling these homes. They're getting out of the business. They're going to have to sell these homes just to try to recoup these massive losses. But how sad that the small mom and pop landlord is being just put out of business, going to be forced to sell. So we're going to see more listings coming, more inventory coming on the market here in California. How bad is the economy? We really don't know. And I say that because when people aren't paying rent for 3 years, we don't really know how bad it is because people aren't paying their bills. They're not paying rent. How many retailers at these bankrupt malls are paying rent right now? How many retailers in America right now aren't paying rent? How many people are not making their auto payments right now? We have 40 million Americans that haven't made a college tuition payment in over 3 years. We're being told the economy is doing fine while people aren't paying cars, they're not paying college tuition, they're not paying rent. How about what's happening in commercial real estate? How many of these buildings are receiving no rent whatsoever? We've seen 2 massive hotels in San Francisco where the loans were given back to the bank, about $728 million. Westfield Mall in San Francisco, $528 million given back to the bank. How many of these commercial properties right now, currently, nobody's paying rent or mortgage payments on these properties? And we're not being told. And we're not going to be told until the bank is forced to foreclose on these properties, take these properties to auction, and they find out that they're going to get pennies on the dollar. So right now, we're not seeing any massive losses on these bank books because they're not taking these properties back. They're doing everything they can not to take the cars back, not to take the office buildings back, not to take the hotels back. And when they are forced to, and they find out that they're going to get pennies on the dollars on this toxic debt, we're going to see more problems, more implosions. It's much worse than you think it is, ladies and gentlemen. And this is one way they keep everything going along and moving along, because they're just not reporting these massive losses. Just, hey, pay us when you can. Again, they're doing everything they can not to foreclose, not to take the vehicles back. And at some point, this is all going to come to a head, and we're going to find out that it's much worse than we first thought. Here's another one from the Hedge today. Geopolitical evolution, Russia's rebellion, and a return to gold-backed currency. 36 nations have joined or expressed interest in the BRICS. That is over 60% of the world's population and 1/3 of global GDP. And Dave Ramsey says, don't worry, nobody's going to go to the BRICS. There's going to be no threat of the dollar losing its world reserve status. Don't worry about it. But right here, just with what I just said, you better begin to worry. What does the world look like once Putin ends the war in Ukraine and once China takes over Taiwan? I think the world's going to look like a much different place. And I think that the US dollar, the world reserve currency, is going to come under severe competition, a severe threat by the BRICS nations. Not saying it's going to implode or collapse overnight, but once it comes under direct competition by a currency that is backed by gold, it doesn't have to be 100% backed by gold. What if it's 20, 25, 30% backed by gold? How many nations are going to run to that currency over the US dollar? A dollar that has been weaponized, a dollar that is backed by absolutely nothing. You know, if it's 36 nations right now, how quickly that's going to double and triple, because the world is sick of the weaponized dollar. It's sick of these wars. It's done. And as soon as this becomes an option, the world is going to the BRICS nations, and you need to be prepared for it. What will you use as money if the dollar dies? That's another article on the Hedge today. And you don't even have to worry about if it dies. What if it doesn't die, but it has a lot less purchasing power than it does now? And guess what? We've lost a lot of purchasing power, and the dollar is going to lose more purchasing power. The reckless policies that we have seen in just the past 3 years makes you think about the potential of hyperinflation in America. Just think about the $6-7 trillion that we pumped in to the U.S. economy in just 30 months. $6 to $7 trillion. Think about the multi-trillion-dollar bailouts of 2008 that didn't even fix anything. How much of this illusion is just all of this artificial money that's been pumped into the system? This is why people continue to lose purchasing power. If the dollar loses its international reserve status, what would you do? Central banks know what they would do because they're doing it right now. They are stacking massive amounts of physical gold. My advice today, and this isn't financial advice, this isn't me telling you what to do, but this is me thinking out loud. This is me talking with my family, my friends, people in my circle. It's buy gold. It's buy silver. It's stack some cash right now. It's get rid of debt. It's get every barterable item and preparation that you can, from a tourniquet to a bottle of hydrogen peroxide to bleach to extra toothpaste to an extra pair of boots and jeans to a trauma kit to extra vitamins, anything you can think of, toothpaste, dental floss, toothbrushes, anything you can. If you went to the grocery store today and spent $50 on things that you would need, that if the lights went out, think about what you would need. Would you need some extra toothpaste? Do you need extra dental floss, a toothbrush, hydrogen peroxide, Band-Aids, bandages, candles, matches? Think about these little things. $50 will buy a lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. If you were putting, you know, $25, $50 a week away in these little cheap items, it could save your life. Look, today, 3 explosions in Washington, D.C. We know that a few months ago, a report on how many grids were attacked in the U.S., it was a startling number. Think about when these attacks get much bigger. What if they hit a water source, a water treatment facility, a grid in your city? This could really change your life. And if the stores closed, if we got hit by a cyber attack and you could not use money, if you could not use that plastic card, it's going to come down to, you know, junk silver, barterable items, things like that. These are the things we have to be thinking about right now, acquiring while we can, because you do not know what tomorrow is going to bring. And as I come to you on this 4th of July weekend, and thank God that we still have a little bit of freedom and that we can still do something to put the odds in our favor and protect ourselves the best that we can, take advantage of this time right now. I'm going to close with this last article. I was reading this morning. 30 people shot, 2 dead as block party in Baltimore turns into war zone. You don't have to go very far to see a war zone, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we look at what happens in the Middle East. We're watching what's happening in Ukraine. Take a look at what's happening here right now. 30 people shot in Baltimore at a block party. What does this look like when things really get bad? And I'm going to continue to reiterate this every day. It's just these crazy stories of what's happening all over America. Big cities, small cities, neighborhoods, gas stations, convenience stores, in people's houses, down the street, at the park. It's incredible the amount of crime that is taking place right now during stable times. Stable times. And even during stable times, they're locking down ice cream in New York. They're locking down the frozen sections with chains and locks. I mean, this is where we're at right now. You're watching America become a third world nation. And if we lose that world reserve status with the US dollar, or if our grids get hit, or both, we'll be in a third world literally overnight. Are you prepared to deal in the third world? Are you prepared to deal with the third world? Are you prepared to survive in a third world? Most people are not, because they think it could never happen to them. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, just read history. Watch what's happening around the world right now. Take a look at what's happening in France. We are living in some very precarious, violent times, and America hasn't seen what America's about to see. I mean, it's coming to America. America thinks, we just think we're immune from financial collapse. We're immune from moral collapse. We're immune from spiritual collapse. We're immune from collapse, period. And we're going to see multiple types of collapse, I believe, take place in America. We are not going to get out of this unscathed. We've gotten very lazy. We've taken a lot for granted. We're very entitled. And I think that America is going to be put in check. And if it doesn't begin here, something somewhere else is going to trigger it here. We're either going to see some big bank in Europe go down, this world war is going to get bigger, and we're going to get pulled into it. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Something out of left field is going to happen, and it is going to trigger a real demise here in America, I believe. I mean, now look, I could be completely wrong. Maybe you believe America, things are only going to get better. They're going to improve based on what? I have no idea. When you're printing money at this rate, when you have this type of leadership, when you can't even get airplanes to take off from its airports. I don't see how things are going to get better. When we continue to see businesses shut down, people losing their jobs, and we just continue to live in this bubble, this delusional bubble where we print money and we keep it all going. If you think that that's going to happen forever, I think you're sadly mistaken, because now we're beginning to see the cracks. People are in big financial trouble. They're continuing to live on their credit cards, and many people will party this weekend and celebrate 4th of July because of credit cards. You take credit cards away from this nation, and we would probably already be third world. Unfortunately, all the credit card is doing is delaying from where we're heading, and that is into a third world country, because the debt's not going away. It's just getting bigger because of people's want of self-satisfaction, instant gratification, having it now instead of saving money or working harder. They have credit cards, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 credit cards. And so this allows them to have this lifestyle that they couldn't have, because they would have to save a lot of money. They would have to work harder. They just couldn't have it. And let's face it, some people just aren't going to have that lifestyle. And that's just the way life is. Unless you work really, really hard, have some success, have a little bit of luck. But people are living so over their heads. They're living like millionaires when they make $50,000 a year, and they're living like millionaires. This is all going to come to an end. It always does. We've seen this movie before, but this time it's going to be the worst ever. And people think it's not, because they'll get another credit card. They figure they'll get another bailout. The Fed will come to the rescue. The politician will save them. The economy is going to turn and improve. It's not going to happen. And all this is done is put off and delayed. The kicking of the can down the road, it's just put off the inevitable. But now the inevitable is going to be 100 times worse, because we didn't deal with it back in 2008. People didn't deal with it in their households. They just continued to spend. They just continued and bought a bigger car with bigger payments. They got a bigger house with bigger payments. And so they're just bigger debt slaves. And when a depression hits a country, you're going to find out who's prepared and who isn't. And the debt slaves are the most unprepared people on planet Earth. Most of your friends are the most unprepared people on planet Earth. Even though they might be driving a BMW, a Mercedes, or a Lexus, you're going to find out who's really prepared, who really has wealth and who doesn't. And wealth doesn't mean how much money you have in the bank or how much money you have in the mattress. Wealth to me is how much debt you have. If you're a debt slave, then you're broke. If your mortgage, is 40, 50% of what you make and you live in a nice house, you're still broke. You're one emergency away from it all ending. So we're going to find out who's real and who's not. And I think there's a lot of fake people out there. The people that post what they're driving, what they're eating, where they're vacationing. Again, car payments, lease payments, credit card payments. It's all finance. It's all debt. Most people out there that have to show you what they have are broke. That's why they're showing you, because it makes them feel important, makes them feel rich, even though they have more debt than anybody you know. So don't be these people. Drive the older car. If you make 50 grand, live like you make 25. You make 100 grand, live like, live on 50. Put that money away. Buy assets. Get ready. Because if you do that, I believe you're probably going to become wealthy, because there are going to be so many sales coming. And if you have some money put away and you have very little debt or no debt and you have good credit, you're going to take advantage of major sales. Because the people out there right now, the FOMO, the fear of missing out, the people who had it right now, the people that had to have it today, right now, who took major risk, who didn't realize what's about to happen. They just thought the economy would get better and better, and that prices of homes and Rolex watches and all this would just continue to go up. They're wrong, and they're going to be proven wrong again. They always are. And the people who sit back, who are patient, who save and prepare, are the people who always get the big sales. And this is where the real money is made. We're still seeing FOMO in these markets. You really believe the market's going to go up forever? You think the market, that this isn't all artificially fueled right now? You think that these prices aren't overinflated in the stock market right now? If you're buying into this whole thing, I feel sorry for you, because more than likely you're going to get wiped out. The big money is going to come in the market when it crashes. Don't buy the dips, buy the crash, ladies and gentlemen. The crash is coming. I don't know if that's a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, or 3 weeks from now. Nobody knows. But in the meantime, prepare the best that you can. Use the time right now to be diligent. Be patient. Real quick before I go, a friend of mine, Ron, his mom needs some prayer. She's having some issues. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to say too much just for their privacy. But I know a lot of you believe in the power of prayer like I do. Ron's mom, is having some issues. I'm going to leave it at that. Please say a prayer for Ron's mom and that she gets better. Most of you know we only have one mother. Family is very, very important. At least it is to me. If it is to you, say a prayer for Ron's mom. And I'm going to leave it there today. Have a great weekend. God bless every one of you. And as I said earlier, pray for America. This country needs a miracle. And pray for Ron's mom. God bless.